It's not on yet. Hello everyone, how are you? So, how are you all? How is everyone today? I hope you can see me well. I have like an extra light here, but it's a little dark in my living room right now. Hi, I'm Erlea. I'm with GlassRoots. I'm a glass blowing assistant. I'll introduce myself in a second. I would like our co-host to come in, so give me 1 second. I'm gonna message him right now. So. Okay, so today we're going to be talking with a local entrepreneur and artist. His name is Gabe. I don't know how to pronounce his last name properly. Ribeiro. I'm going to ask him. I'm so sorry. He's an amazing artist. He has a clothing company, and he's very, very engaged in the local community. And he's from Newark, so he actually has like a lot of local artistry. Oh, so Gabe is on. I'm going to add him right now. 1 second. Go live. Sorry. Okay. This is the real start. Sorry, everyone. Hey, what's up, Gabe?
Hello, how are you?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm alright.
So I was just giving you a mini introduction. So this is Gabe. He's a local artist. He has a clothing company called the North Project. And explain what your company is and what you do.
I like to say it's an apparel brand. And we make goods and cultural activations surrounding the city. And yeah.
Okay, cool. That's awesome. Yeah. So yeah, I have some of your work. You make amazing stuff. Okay, I'm gonna give a little intro for anyone now that we have a little bit of a bigger audience with some people in. So, hey, I am Erlea Jimenez. I work for GlassRoots, and normally you can find me at the Hot Shop in GlassRoots. It's in Newark, New Jersey, in 10 Bleecker Street. GlassRoots is a glass art studio in Newark, New Jersey that works to ignite and build cultural and economic vitality of our community through the glass art. Since you can't visit us in the studio in this time, each day we're bringing you activities through Facebook, Instagram, and other social media platforms. And be sure to sign up for our email list to get our virtual studios sent directly to you. Send your email to info@glassroots.org and follow us on Facebook and Instagram. Thank you so much for joining us. We're so glad that we can provide you with the virtual studios and we can have amazing people like Gabe. Gabe here, like you said, he has a clothing company and he's here to excite. I'm so glad that you're here to join us. So I have a few questions for you specifically because your clothing company is like almost like surpasses a clothing company in the impact that it has on people, right? Like you have a message with your clothing and you have an impact on people and you give them voices almost. So give me 1 second. So my first question to you is really just simply, why did you choose to create the Newark Project? What chose you to create a clothing company?
Well, I didn't
And a
actively
clothing company with a message.
I didn't actively set out to start the North Project. It just started as a hobby because I was teaching myself graphic design, and I just chose like Newark as the backdrop for most of my work, and then I wanted to share it. So I got it printed as stickers, and then people enjoyed that. And I made some hats, and then I learned how to print my own shirts, and it just kept on rolling. So I can't say, in retrospect, I didn't plan to do the stuff the way I did. But as I kept learning, I wanted to do things that that carried more weight and had a message, and so I learned how to do that. Yeah, I think cities, like urban spaces, are places where people without power can create their own history and their own culture. So like if it's working class or people of color, immigrants, they always come to cities to live their lives. So when I say like Newark is for hustlers, Newark is for artists, is for immigrants, uh, that's what I'm trying to say. Like Newark and cities in general are places where people can come and like realize their dreams or whatever.
Hmm. Yeah, I like that a lot too, actually. Like, so your art is more than clothing. Like, you have actual physical stickers and you have like posters almost up on parts of town, um, which is amazing, by the way. I just
Thank
want to
you.
go to your Instagram and show one or two examples really quick. So, I'm going to ask you a question about what exactly is happening in this photo. So, in this photo, you see a man that says, "Stay your butt home."
Yeah.
And why is that? Why is that a message? And why do you have why do you have someone a picture of someone out there standing up with a cardboard saying that?
Well, that's photoshopped because that used to say something else. I was a friend that we went out to Broad Market, and he had a sign that said Newark is pronounced Nork, Nork. Um, and we stood at Broad Market for like 20 minutes, and people were taking photos, and I got my photos, and I shared that, and then we went to Penn Station. Um, and so that was like a little joke that we were running. Uh, but when uh, the virus happened, I photoshopped like the cardboard blank, and then you can write stuff on it. And so I wrote, stay home, and I just wanted to, in whatever way people were trying to get that message across, and I wanted to throw my hat in the ring. So that's what I did.
I'm glad you did. I mean, in this you have 686 likes, so people were really rooting for you when there's like when you said "stay your butt home," which is good. I mean, it's part of cultural awareness that everyone decides to like make these movements, and part of your like Instagram and your message was to like help people, and like that's I'm glad you did something like that. So one of the things that you like to do is you like to highlight local artists and other communities that are similar and have like that can work along with you. So for example, you had a live stream that you did with Chris Davis, and you talked about impacts in art in urban communities. You talked about how art impacted both of you individually. You talked about, you said in that interview that you do art every day. You were like, I write a little bit every day, I draw a little bit every day. How do you get yourself to do that? Is that just something you're like forced to do? Like you feel the urge to do? Like you're just like, I just need to create, I just need to form.
In the beginning, you want to do it every day because you want to get better, but then as time goes on, you just become more inclined. It becomes a habit of yours, and then
Mhm.
days go on where you don't do it and you feel weird or you feel like you need to get something off. Uh, and so, it's sort of what you turn to. It becomes therapeutic.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel that too. I've always felt like art is what I go to for therapy. It's something that like almost calms me down and makes me relaxed and in the zone, you know? And that's something that allows me to kind of like it just allows me to be me, is what I like to say. Allows me to,
Yeah.
be who I am. So I love a lot of what you did with your organization. I want to see if I can show some of your work right now through Instagram. So you have these so like I said, you have these posters kind of everywhere, and it's Newark is for artists. I love that slogan, by the way. That is amazing. Like, what made you just like decide to post that everywhere and just make that your like your thing? Like, it's so you've had it for over a year. You've had it for a very long time. So it's not like it just recently came up. What made you choose that? You're like I'm an artist. It's for me. It's for what is it?
Yeah,
What
well,
chose?
I was looking at like what other cities have done. Um, like like big cities almost have like they're almost like branded. Like New York is the Big Apple, and then Virginia is for lovers, and LA has like the hand, like whatever. Like
Mhm.
and I was like, I wanted to come up with something for Newark, and so I started with Newark is for hustlers. That was inspired because I was interning um at a company in Newark, and like I had a foot in the tech world, and then I had a foot in the art world just personally because I was like working at the print shop or going to events. and like I just saw a lot of people, making their living, um, basically doing what they wanted, and I was like, yeah, Newark is for hustlers. Like, it's where people come, to realize themselves, and but then I realized it's more than just hustlers. It's for artists and immigrants and lovers, and uh, the Newark is for artists. I was surprised really took off. I got invited to do the photo you showed was a mural. It's on Treat Place, in downtown Newark. It's like 2 blocks from Prudential Center. It's 1 block behind Broad Street, and that was part of the Four Corners Public Arts project that happened in November of 2019. They installed like 14 murals across the city, all in the downtown area, and they asked me to do one. And that's the one I did.
It's a beautiful mural, and part of your art is actually the photography that you do. This is a really, really good picture.
Well, somebody took that photo. I think I have it in the caption, but like people will send me photos.
Oh, okay. Let me give credit to credit due. Give credit where credit is due.
People always send photos in front of the mural or wearing a T-shirt, and I love it.
I guess Dimitri is who's in the photo, and Maverick, I think, took the photo.
Yeah.
Is what happens the names from Instagram. So part of your artist is these actual part of your art is these little customized tote bags. I actually like them a lot because they're reusable. They're reusable. They're made out of fabric, so you can wash them. They have some slogan about Newark. So what made you decide to do tote bags? Why were you like, oh, let's just make reusable bags for everyone? And you gave me one for free, by the way. Thank you. I have it in my room. I'm about to pull it out in a second. But this is what tote bags look like.
I don't remember why I started tote bags, but all I know is that I never used tote bags, and then when I started making my own, I started using tote bags every day. It was
Oh, wow.
But it's it's I think in Jersey City they ban plastic bags. I don't know when they're gonna do it in Newark, and so I think reusable bags are, if they're pretty or they look good, people would like them, and then also helps the environment.
Okay, so just so people can see it again, I'll hold it up for a little bit into the height of my head, as people said. Oh wait, my bad.
Yes, artists do have a lot to carry. Yeah. All these photos are on. If you guys want to check it out, it's at
at the Newark Project, NORK. So that's something too. I would like to talk about that. You decided NORK. They pronounce it more than they actually, Newark. Instead of Newark, it's Newark. It's one word. It's like a shorter word. Why did you do that? I love it because I've seen multiple people engage in that, just from the way that it points out.
Yeah, well, that's how people generally pronounce it, especially if you've lived here a long time, and then you can sort of tell who's from here or who's from out of town depending on how they pronounce it. Or like people were saying, there's a Newark in Delaware and Ohio and California, and there was a pronunciation code. Each of the different Newarks pronounce it differently. Like in Delaware, it's Newark. In Ohio, Newark, and then in Jersey, it's Newark.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I like that. Part of it is just growing up here, you create almost your own language, and it's something that really just helps you go through everything. And it is pronounced Newark. Someone, I think pizza and fries. I think that's Yazzie, but it is pronounced Newark. There's some a little bit of feedback, but we have to go away soon. Okay, I have a few more questions. Oh, okay. So I want to shift this over to one of your other businesses. So you have something called the North Audio Project. And tell me a little bit about what that is.
So that is, I collect Newark stories and memories and perspectives through audio. So it's sort of like a short form podcast. I started that because I was interning at a podcast company and I learned how to, play with audio, and decided to bring it like short form into the streets. And so I started interviewing people, just about like how long they've lived here, or what brought them here, or why they stayed. And you collect some really interesting stories. Like this one guy, I think one of my favorites is he was he was telling me that he planned to move to New York City, to Manhattan, but his apartment fell through, and so he had to stay with a friend in Newark. And I was like, oh, how long has that happened? He goes, yeah, it's been 10 years. So he planned to move to Manhattan, and then he ended up housing here in Newark, and he just stayed for 10 years. And and he said it was an accident, but it was meant to be. And that's how people. There's so many different stories about how people end up in the city. There's also, but if anyone wants to contribute to the project, I set up a hotline, a phone number that you can call, and you can leave a voicemail with your Newark story, and then I can upload it. And everything is anonymous, so you don't have to. So yeah, but that's on Newark Audio Project Instagram.
At Newark Audio Project. So I have one here that I love. Let me see if I can find it real quick. Okay, so I don't know if people can hear it. I hope they can.
Oh, it's everything. It's the streets, it's the people, it's the schools, it's everything that encompasses that what makes the city. Because it's like you meet different people in your life and help shape and form you to who you want to be. So that's what makes it special. I lived in North Palm, and the person definitely is like a diamond in the rough, and a rose that grew from concrete. Oh, it's everything. It's the streets.
So who was this person? I loved what she said. I loved how she talked about how it's a diamond in the rough. It's something that like people see and they're like, oh, it's Newark. I'm a little scary. And then it's beautiful. It's a little bit of everywhere. It has like cultures from everywhere. It has the Newark International Airport, so it's very like integrated. Like, who was she? How'd you meet her? Like, what did her story say to you?
I remember meeting her at City Hall because I was at an event at City Hall, and she was there, and she had been running, or she ran for councilwoman of one of the wards. She lived in Newark all her life, and and she said what she said, that it's like it's about the people, and then it's like a diamond in the rough. And yeah, but that was an interesting day. I collected a couple stories there at City Hall. That's a good place to go because that's people in there are from the city. So
Yeah. So, explain one of the stories that happened that day. Like, if you were going around just collecting all of the stories. Did something point out to you that day that you were like, that's amazing, that it's interesting, or that?
The story I told about the guy whose apartment fell through in Manhattan, that
That was
was
that
the same day. Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy. I feel like a lot of these have like, a lot of these are instances of people being vulnerable and being real and talking about their experiences. Like, so the theme of this week, we've kind of just been going over it without mentioning it directly, is togetherness. And I'm so sorry for not mentioning it. But togetherness allows us to your whole business is kind of founded in what togetherness is. It brings unity. It talks about people's experiences, allows people to be them. It brings people together based on an accent of a word. So what brings you together with what you love, and like what makes you feel unity during this time?
I think what brings me together with people that I love are things that we love in common. So whether it be like a specific kind of art or a genre of music, or places we go, like community places like the Newark Print Shop or Index Art Center, local businesses like Walla, like Veggie Walla or Black Swan.
Mm-hmm.
So if we sort of find each other at these places, it brings us together. Yeah, but I think the North Project being like this unifying brand, I didn't want it to be something that just makes product. I think making people feel like they're a part of something was more important.
Yeah, yeah, I love that about it. Honestly, that's what draws me to your business a lot. And like, I just it's amazing that you reach out to so many people and that you really just make a message with everything. Like even in your Instagram, I feel like your Instagram has so many like low key political messages. Um, uh, like
It's right.
for example, you have one incredibly popular post. Incredibly popular post. Newark is not for sale.
Yeah. Hold on. Yeah.
And this is something I'd love to buy on a shirt. I'd love to buy it, which is so funny. It's for sale. But let me know, like, what does that mean to you? What does it mean to you that Newark is not for sale? What does being for sale mean to you? For me, it's like this cultural dominance. Like I feel like Prudential is huge, influential.
Yeah.
Like that's
it's
like
sort of the when you speak about gentrification.
Even though they're amazing.
Gentrification is like the city is where like the working class and the immigrant communities and people of color have made their own history, and you get somebody with money who comes and just buys everything up and eventually ends up displacing these people. It's sort of violent. Like it's not like nobody's getting like hit or anything, but it's violent in the nature that these people have built a legacy for their family and in this city, and now they're being forcibly moved because they can't afford to live here anymore.
I think yeah, I think that's totally true. I think a parallel to New York. In New York, a lot of people who came from like suburban communities are actually fleeing to those same suburban communities and leaving New York and like letting the economy dry up. And so a lot of these people that are wealthier and are able to displace themselves more easily make it so that it's really difficult to kind of like survive. And it lowers all of our economy when a bunch of people just decide to leave because they can't.
Yeah.
And part of it is you're part of the community, and I like that you point all of this out. I like that you're just making a name for yourself and you're building up your brand. A lot of what you have are shirts and hoodies. A lot of what you have are what people can wear and people can show and people can appreciate. A lot of what you have is reusable and like it's not like plastic based. Even the stickers, which I think are awesome, honestly, they stay there forever and they're just so cool. Like I feel like they like leave a message kind of everywhere. And part of fighting back is that voice. Part of fighting back is going against that. So let me mention specifically. On March 28th, you posted forgetting as a form of violence, documentation as a form of resistance. I'm gonna find that right now. But while I'm finding that, please tell me, to what degree do you believe this resistance is necessary? Do you believe documentation brings us together? Like,
I think
what
so,
about
because documenting is a form of creation, because you're creating what you had at the time and what's around you and the ideas that you were concerned with at the time. I said documenting as a form of resistance because when people are trying to erase a legacy or erase a history, documenting shows proof that you were there and that you existed and that you were forcibly removed or however else you were trying to be erased. And I said that's a form of resistance because resistance is also a form of hope. Like, if there wasn't hope, you wouldn't fight back. The reason we fight is because there is hope that things can change.
I think that was on your person. I love what you said. Sorry, I get distracted. I love what you said. It's definitely a lot of hope in documentation and in telling people stories and saying what we do. And that's why I love the New York Audio Project. It kind of does that, like in the scope. It tells about people's experiences. It tells them about how they experience Newark and they experience the world around us. So, you used to work, or maybe you do still work with the New York Print Shop. How is that going? I know, I know a lot of us are on lockdown. Like, I have not personally not been to GlassRoots physically since everything's happened. But how's that been going? Like, are you planning to somehow like accept the community and try to engage in some way virtually? Are you? Tell me, please.
The New York Print Shop is a nonprofit that teaches fine art printmaking to students and adults in the city. And I am a teaching artist and a work exchange student there. And every Wednesday, not anymore because you have to be there physically, but every Wednesday there was an open studio program called Print Club. And for $10, people would come in, burn a screen, and we would teach you how to screen print. This happened every Wednesday, and it's been New York Print Shop has been around for 6 years. And so it's been happening for the longest time. I've been involved almost a year and a half now. And so, when things get back up and running every Wednesday from 6 to 10, we're teaching people how to screen print. And I've learned a lot there from that community. I learned how to screen print. That's where I produce all my garments. So it's a staple to the community. A lot of other entrepreneurs use it, and printmakers and anybody who's trying to reproduce their work and can through screen printing, they're probably there.
Yeah, they're our neighbors. I've been there 1,000 times in high school, 1,000 times after. Like they were very influential. They're cool. I finally found it. I'm sorry. I'm just gonna quickly post up that picture that we were talking about earlier about fighting as a form of violence. I'm sorry, everything is flipped. It's part of what we're in, the media we're in.
Forgetting as a form of violence, documentation as a form of resistance. And that photo is by my friend, Chris Davis.
Yeah, it's Chris Davis, the same artist that you had the live stream with. And that's an awesome photo, too. It's really impactful. So I have, I think, 2 more questions for you. So earlier you talked about how Newark is for artists, Newark is for hustlers, Newark is for lovers. And on August 10th, 2019, you posted on the Newark Project that you posted a picture of artists, hustlers, and lovers all transposed on each other. Are these words inherently like interchangeable to you, or do you think that they all have their distinctness and you're like, oh, it's just that it's all encompassing, that Newark is kind of this ground for everyone to kind of come from? Like, how do you define these words? Like, what do these words mean to you? Hustlers, lovers.
I think those are the different personalities that the city has. Hustlers meaning like the working class and entrepreneurs and people making a living by any means necessary. Artists or people like myself, yourself, and who are involved in these organizations. Lovers are more so. Cornel West has a quote where he says, "Justice is what love looks like in public." And so I think lovers are these people who are fighting for truth and justice and honesty. And then immigrants are just people who they're travelers, whether they've traveled across state lines or country lines. They found themselves here in Newark, and Newark is very open to these people.
Yeah.
And so I don't think you could fall into different categories. Like it's not mutually exclusive.
Okay. Yeah, I like that. I'm gonna see if I can find the picture right now. So some people are asking, they're begging for the bag. They say that they love your work. They really want your work. Can you please tell us how you're working during times if you're working and able to get that? Please tell us. How can we get your roles?
I'm unable to fulfill any orders at the time because of the virus. But if you follow the Nork Project on Instagram, and then you can also visit thenorkproject.com, and that's where I house everything and all the work that I make.
Okay, cool. So thenorthproject.com.
Yes.
Please, people, go to thenorthproject.com to see them.
It's not up right now because of the virus, but
yeah.
if you keep in touch on Instagram at the Nork Project.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, the sad thing is, a lot of us are sadly like at home, not able to do that much. Like personally, I haven't glass blown at all since the virus, since it like hit us with the wave. So like a lot of my art's affected, but part of it is just making art through other means. So for example, I have been changing the way in which I make art. What are some of the ways that you make art now? Now that you don't make clothing per se, or aren't able to do it as much, what ways do you make? What do you actually draw? Do you paint?
Yeah, without access to the studio and any of my materials, I've had to I just read and write a lot more.
Okay.
That's about it.
You read and write.
Yeah.
What do you read? Like I personally struggle with reading. Like I just like seeing. I'm an audio person, I guess is the word. But like what do you read? Like what makes it so that you're like, I love this book. This is really like engaging.
Anything. I read this book, Vanishing New York, How a Great City Lost Its Soul. It's about gentrification in New York City. And it's phenomenal. If anybody cares for that stuff and urban planning and gentrification, that book is brilliant. I've also read, reading this, The Tipping Point by Malcolm Gladwell.
I finished that book. It's amazing.
But then I also like to read fiction, so I have some James Baldwin here. If Beale Street Could Talk. So I read widely, and on different topics. I just, you get to like mix and match ideas, and something from urban planning makes itself into your art, or a story from fiction, or a quote or something. I think it's good to pull from different sources.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I love pulling from different sources myself. Some books I do like The Tipping Point. I love Malcolm Gladwell though. Like such a good author. Like genuinely engaging in so many ways. Yeah, like I don't know. Lately I've been trying to write more. Like I've been trying to write more like I guess poetry or maybe just expression. And since I recently indulged and got a desktop to do some like work in. And I'm trying to like learn all these like new artistic studios. Like I'm trying to just explore art in a different medium, I guess is the better way to say it. Like it's almost like a hoop to jump through. Like do you ever feel that when you try to explore a new medium or practice something new? Like I personally used to make a lot of glass art. Like I used to flame work and glass blow. And I know you haven't done much of that, if ever. So what kind of arts do you, like? How would you embrace new mediums? Are you like you're all gung ho and you're like I'm gonna try a new thing, or are you more very reserved and you're like I'm gonna keep with what I do?
A little bit of both. I think I do like to try new things, but if I'm in like the flow of something, I sort of just stay in it. And maybe if I come up like on a dry spell or something, I might go out of the box and try something new. Or if I have an idea and I don't know per se like how I would do it, or how I would start to do it. I know what I would need, but I don't know how to use that program yet or something like that. I would teach myself how. I mean, that's what I've usually done. I've taught myself how to use like Photoshop and Illustrator and all that.
Yeah. So you're very self-taught. You like driving yourself for your goals, right?
Yeah.
Do you use like YouTube to drive the rest?
Yeah, it's free, so
it's free. Might as well. Man. Um, I think that almost wraps it up. I'm gonna see if I can ask one more question. I have a few written here. Oh wait, let me post. Let me see.
I don't know if Kate is still here, but Kate asked a question.
Oh, okay,
Like,
yeah.
like,
We can go
like
through
all the
questions.
way up.
Yeah. I'm gonna see if I can go through questions right now.
Who is your target customer? Local Newarkers or people abroad? I think my target customer is just people who have a pride for the city, and sometimes that includes people abroad. So, but I mean, most of them are right here, but it's not limited to people just within the city.
Yeah, like I love people from everywhere. Like I have friends from all over the world. I think just express who you are and love people. I have some good quotes here. Someone has making people feel a part of something was more important. That's cute. I don't know if we said that or someone else said that.
I think I said
Motherhood
that.
Mag pointed that out. Uh, So It Workshop, which is Ellen, asks, who was the picture of at City Hall?
I think that was the audio project you were playing.
Oh, yeah. It was the audio project. There was no picture. Let me see any more questions. I don't see any more questions. If anyone has any questions for our lovely host, our guest, our lovely guest, Gabe, please ask him. Ask about his company, the Newark Project. Ask about GlassRoots. I'm so glad that everyone came. I'm glad we had a huge turnout and people keep coming in and coming out, and I love it. Thank you all for joining us. So to end this off, we're all artists. I find a lot of influence from entertainment, like from media and games, but also from like toys and stuff, like childish things, right? But I can use that to transpose into something else and then draw it out, or try to make music with that, or make poetry about it. What would you consider a major influence in your life that like drives a lot of what you do? Like you said, the city, which is why Newark is the base of what you do. But like, what makes all of this like you? Like, what makes it that you love clothing, or you do all of this for?
I think I live a lot of my work. Like,
yeah,
Newark is for artists. I try to be an artist. Newark is for hustlers. I sell my own product, and I'm an entrepreneur. And then Newark is for immigrants. My parents are immigrants. I'm a first generation here. And so I think it's a lot of self-reflection too. So my work is a bit of me, and it's also a lot of other people. So yeah.
Someone asked us, how do you remain authentic to your message?
I think you just have to. It has to be you, and you just have to feel it out. You won't you won't really get it the first couple times around. You have to get used to yourself, and how you speak to yourself and how you listen to yourself. You have to get used to that before you start really picking up on like what really matters to you and what you really care for.
Yeah, for sure. Someone asked, what inspires you? Just like a vague, what inspires you?
I think everything. Like yeah, you just pull from everywhere, from movies and documentaries and reading fiction and nonfiction and just seeing other people do it. I think especially seeing other people do it.
Yeah, I agree with that. For me, like, I get inspired by everything too. If I see something in the world that was created, I think, oh, that means I can create it. Like, even if it's something impossibly hard and like I can't create it in 50 years, I would be like, oh, that means that I can do that at some point. And that's kind of inspiring to me. Just like people create things and make it, like Statue of Liberty, huge statue. Maybe I can make that one day. Some similar statue, huge statue, holler. Like,
Yeah.
Some symbol of a country. But yeah. So I think that almost wraps it up. Thank you all for your questions. Thank you for everyone who tuned in, who asked, who engaged, people who didn't engage, who just like to listen. This live stream will be saved afterward and posted on GlassRoots' main page, so you can get it from there. Please share. You can follow us on Instagram at instagram.com/GlassRootsInc, and you can follow Gabe at Instagram. You can follow his Newark project at instagram.com/the Newark project, NORK project. You can follow Newark Audio Project at Newark Audio Project on Instagram. We have a Facebook too. We have a Twitter. If you can, I know this time is hard, but please donate to us if you're able to. It would be great. We're also trying to like make our way through this world. Please help out our local artists like Gabe. And thank you so much for being here. It was great having you.
Thank you. Thank you for everybody that tuned in, and thank you for having me.
Yeah. Have a great one. Bye, everyone. We'll see you all next time. Next week, we have a program starting Monday. So send your email at info@glassroots.org. If you send your email, you'll get our whole calendar for the week on Sunday night. So have a good one. Bye. Bye, everyone.